UFC 312 in Sydney is right around the corner, and it will be headlined by the rematch between Predictions Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland for the middleweight title. Also, the co-main event will feature a strawweight title bout between Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. And many people, they're not really messing with the entire card. I honestly think that the card is carried by the main event and the co-main event. This is a very top-heavy card. There aren't many ranked fighters on the card as well, but I believe that the main event and co-main event, those are going to be some really good fights, and I'm looking forward to watching them. So in this video, I'll be sharing my picks and predictions for the entire fight card for UFC 312. So hopping straight into my predictions, opening up the card, we have a fight between Hyung Sung Park versus Yamjargo Temendemuro. And for this fight, I'll be picking Hyung Sung Park to win by a decision. I feel like Hyung Sung Park, he's going to be the more technical striker, and he's the more sharper striker at the same time. He's also able to just adapt to more situations, so that's why I'm picking Hyung Sung Park to win by a decision. Next fight on the card, we have a fight between Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu, and for this fight, I'll be picking Cody Steele to win by a TKO or knockout, and that's mainly because Cody Steele, he's well-rounded, he's a very good wrestler, and that pressure-based style, not only will that mean that he's going to get success in the wrestling, but I think that he's going to actually knock out Rong Zhu. I can see a ground and pound TKO, and I can even see a knockout on the feet. So those are my reasons why I'm picking Cody Steele to win by a knockout. Next fight on the card is between Quillian Salkild versus Inshil Jubilee, and I'll be picking Quillian Salkild to win by a knockout. The reason why I'm picking Quillian to win by a knockout is because he's a very well-rounded fighter as well, and he has a good ability to mix into grappling, and I think that is going to open up the realm of striking for Quillian. And Inshil Jubilee, we saw in his past fights, he does not have good cardio, and I think that he's going to gas out in the later rounds. I can see like a round 3 stoppage, but I just think that Inshil Jubilee, he's shown to gas out, and I think that Quillian is going to be able to take advantage of that. So I can also see a submission as well. So TKO, submission. Basically, I can just see Quillian just finishing the fight. Next fight on the card will be between Kevin Jousset versus Jonathan Mikalev, and I'll be picking Kevin Jousset to win by a decision. Kevin Jousset is a very technical striker as well, and he also has a very good pressure that he adds to his game. So I think that he's just going to be able to outpoint his opponent, and I think that Jonathan Mikalev, he is a step down in competition compared to Brian Battle. So I think that Kevin Jousset, he's going to be able to walk away with the win in this one. The next matchup is going to be between Alexandre Topuria versus Kobe Thickness, and I'll be picking Alexandre Topuria to win by a KO. I believe that this fight is a very short notice fight, so I think that short notice, it favors Topuria because he's just the more well-rounded fighter. He's coached by Ilya Topuria, and I believe that style is going to be shown in his game. And Topuria is going to have the aggressive pressure, the striking accuracy, the wrestling, offense, defense, the grappling. Those are going to be the factors that Topuria is going to be bringing to this fight. And I can see him getting the finish by a knockout against Kobe Thickness. Next fight on the card, we have a WMMA bout between Kong Wang versus Bruna Bazil. And I was looking at the odds of this fight, and the odds to me is just way out of whack. I think Bruna Bazil, she is like a plus, close to like a plus 800, which I think is crazy because I'll be picking Bruna Bazil to win by a decision. We saw in her last fight that Bruna Bazil, she is a very rangy striker, and she's good at keeping people at a distance and outstriking them. Bruna Bazil also has the better grappling defense, and I think that she's going to employ that in this fight. I can see Bruna Bazil getting it done by submission, but I will be predicting her to win by a decision. Kong Wang, she recently just got fraud checked like a few months ago. So I think that Kong Wang, she's not going to be going into the fight with as much confidence like she was in her last fight. And I think that Bruna Brazil, she fights at the fighting nerves as well, which is a huge plus. We've seen that whole fight team is just running through the whole UFC. So that is why I am picking Bruna Brazil to win by a decision. Next fight on the card, we have a fight between Tom Nolan versus Vyacheslav Borshev. And I'll be picking Vyacheslav Borshev to win by a KO. I just think that Borshev, he is going to be the better kickboxer in this matchup. He has the superior striking, and he's going to be able to land clean shots on Tom Nolan. And I think that is going to lead to the knockout finish for Vyacheslav Borshev. Next fight on the card, we have a fight between Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos, and I'll be picking Jack Jenkins to win by a decision. Jack Jenkins, he is a very well-rounded fighter as well. Obviously, the leg kicks, that is going to be his specialty, and I think that he's going to employ those leg kicks, stifle the movement of Gabriel Santos, and I think that he's going to either win by a late stoppage, like a round 3 TKO, or a decision, 30-27 decision. I think that Jack Jenkins is going to have a very dominant performance at UFC 312. Next fight on the card, we have a fight between Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado, and I'll be picking Jake Matthews to win by a decision. I just think that Jake Matthews, he's going to be able to just stay composed, and even though Francisco, he is a very pressure-heavy fighter, and he does hit hard, I just think that Jake Matthews, he's going to be able to stay composed and just work his own game plan and win by a decision. Next fight on the card is going to be between Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato, and I'll be picking Rodolfo Bellato to win by a KO. Jimmy Crute, he's shown the struggle with very competent grapplers, and Rodolfo Bellato, he is a very good grappler, so I can see him winning this fight by like a ground and pound stoppage. Next fight on the card is going to be between Talison Teixeira versus Justin Tafa, and I think that Talison Teixeira, he's going to get it done by a knockout. Talison, he is 6'7", he has a huge reach advantage, and Justin Tafa, he is good, and he does have a chance to get a knockout in this matchup. I wouldn't say it's a coin flip, but like there's a good chance for both fighters to get a knockout. I just think that Teixeira, he's going to be able to get the knockout just because he's going to be the rangier fighter, and I think he has the more consistent knockout ability, if that makes sense. Now, moving on to the co-main event, we have the first title fight in this card. The strawweight title is on the line between Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez, and I'll be picking Weili Zhang to win by a decision. My main reason why I'm picking Weili Zhang is because Tatiana Suarez, she has not fought in a long time, and I think that ring rust is going to be a big factor in this fight. Now, when we're discussing ring rust, I don't think that ring rust is going to be a huge factor throughout the whole fight, but ring rust is going to be a factor in like the first 2 rounds. And Weili Zhang, I think that she has the proper wrestling defense to defend some of the takedowns and to get out of the bottom positions if she ends up in it. And I just think that Weili Zhang, she is the more well-rounded fighter and she's the better striker as well. So those are my reasons for picking Weili Zhang to win by a decision. Now, moving on to the main event between Predictions Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. And I made a dedicated video about this matchup. So if you guys watched my most recent video, you guys should know that I am picking Predictions Du Plessis to win by a decision. This is just going to be a quick analysis of why I picked Dricus. If you guys want to see a deeper, more in-depth analysis of the fight, you guys should definitely check out my most recent video. But my reasoning for picking Dricus is just that Dricus, he's the more dynamic striker. He has the ability to mix in the wrestling. And Dricus, he just has the ability to finish the fight in general. And also, Dricus, he's a very good game planner. And I think that he's going to be able to change his style to make up for the shortcomings that he had in the first fight.